Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 652, and it's a continuation of a quite unexpected theme that came to fruition last night or last evening. I had to go to the emergency department because I had a strange sensation in my chest caused by heart. And while I'm very reluctant to go to the hospital at all, it happened once the day before and it went away. Then I slept through the night. The morning was fine. Pretty much first half of the day was fine, but when we went to Rosnola yesterday for our sauna service, I started feeling it again, and it was increased, like amplified. It felt like I had extra heartbeats every now and then, and I didn't have such a feeling ever, except for maybe single situations and very rarely. But this time it was ongoing for 4 or 5 hours. So I was quite concerned because, I crossed the barrier of 40 years. So this is the time when a lot of men suffer certain cardiovascular issues, illnesses, and problems. I myself heard about a couple of people my age that died suddenly, and it's just a little bit scary to think, especially when you have family that depends on you. Like in my situation, both Elizabeth and Julian are highly dependent on my well-being. So I still was very reluctant to go to the hospital and used the separate service that we have, which is the GP after hours. Because it was Saturday, obviously all GP practitioners were closed, so I had to, I wanted to avoid, if possible, going to the hospital, and rather not take space in the queue if it can be solved easily by a doctor locally. And the triage nurse that was talking to me heard the symptoms and everything that I told her. She decided that it would only delay unnecessarily, and it would end up with either them sending me to the hospital or calling the ambulance eventually, because they don't have means or cardiologists that could potentially assess it. So she advised that I should go straight to the hospital. And I was a little bit of a liar, because when I said that I will drive to the hospital, she said that I shouldn't drive, and do I have somebody to drive me there? And I knew that if I say no, she will strongly suggest to call the ambulance. So I said that my wife can drive and can take me. But in the back of my head, I knew that if I go to the hospital, it will be me only. So I went, and you could see the previous episode about it. I drove all the way to Letterkenny. I was already tired and still worried because it was happening. It's 6 in the morning, so I stayed whole night. I was in Letterkenny around midnight, so it took me 6 hours. I was assessed by the triage nurse fairly quickly, and she was very thorough. Then I was taken to another nurse that checked my heart rate, blood pressure, did ECG, and also I had been subject to the blood samples taking, so full service. Later on I had another assessment, and I spoke to the doctor, and also I got the x-ray done of my chest, and everything looks promisingly healthy. What he suggested is that what I feel and what I can see on the ECG that I do using my watch is what they call PVC, which is premature ventricle contractions, I believe, and they are irregular contractions, as the name says, that are caused by some current or impulses of the within the heart that are out of the ordinary rhythm. They are not dangerous in majority of cases, but if they cause concern over longer period of time and they increase in numbers, then they should be checked. And for that reason, he gave me a letter to my GP to organize for Holter, which is basically the ECG monitoring, but over 24 hours period. So I will be carrying electrodes with the little apparatus that will record my heartbeat and my vitals, and this way the doctor will be able to see what happens over the whole day, rather than just, you know, a small fraction of time that ECG does, which is really 30 to 60 seconds. So yeah, that kind of lifted me up a bit, because main concern is kind of gone. I know that these PVCs are very often caused by different factors, but I was stressed a lot. I consumed a bit of caffeine recently. I didn't sleep for about a week well, so there are different small factors that likely accounted for it. So yeah, I will be organizing for Holter. He said that the wait list for the public Holter might be long, even 6 months. So because I have the private insurance, I will likely ask for referral to the private practitioner or private hospital, and I'll do them straight away, or at least much faster when I'll be in Dublin or somewhere else. So yeah, that's it. I'll see how it goes, but basically I am going to grab some coffee against all odds. I need to drop some caffeine into my bloodstream because I was falling asleep all that night while sitting there in the hospital. I need something to stimulate me before I reach Donegal town and to make it in a safe manner. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for being here with me. I hope it wasn't boring, and we'll see what comes next. But this at least gives me assurance that I will not collapse suddenly because of that. This is something that is not gonna happen, or it never happens with PVCs. So that's good information. I hope you have a great rest of the day, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Stay tuned and see you again.